Okay, so tonight we're going to talk about exponents. We have a cameo. We have a cameo. Manny's girlfriend Cricket, the French Bulldog, will be joining us. But I just kind of wanted to introduce what an exponent is. And it's basically just repeated multiplication. I want you to think about that. So you will see a big number like this 3 right here. And then we call that the base. And then you will see a tiny little number on the right-hand side, and we call that the exponent. And so how we interpret that is not 3 times 4. It's really important that you get that down. What it is you are multiplying the base number, aka 3, by itself this number of times. So you are taking 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. And say like we needed to multiply 3 times 10 times. It would be super annoying to write that all the way out. So we would just put 3 as our base number, and then we would put a little 10 up here. So that's the whole point of exponents. Is you have your base and you have your exponent. And your base is the number that you're multiplying by itself. And the exponent is the number that's telling you how many times you're going to multiply that base number by itself. So base number, Manny size. Exponent, this is Manny's girlfriend Cricket, tiny little number. And so that will be helpful to think about as we work some examples. So for example, like just a warning, don't use 3 times 4 when you see this. The answer is not 12, and that's the biggest mistake students make when they are learning exponents. They think, oh, well, this just means 3 times 4, and it does not. An exponent does not mean, it's not your second multiplicative. It is how many times you multiply 3 times each other. So what that means is if I have 3 times 3 times 3 times 3, so how I work that out is I would say 3 times 3, well, that equals 9, okay? So I did 3 squared right there, 3 times 3, and then so I've taken care of that, and now I'm going to bring down this 3 times 3, and that equals 27. So I've taken care of that 3, and now I bring down this fourth 3. 27 times 3. 27 times 3. So I know 25 times 3 is 75. And so when I work this out, 75 plus 6, 2 times 3 is 6. 6 plus 8. And so 27 times 3 would be 81. So my answer is not 12, it is 81. And so it would be 81 Manny's, which, my goodness, look at that. That's a whole lot of house hippo. Oh my goodness. He's so handsome. Okay, so moving on. So just to look at these are all different exponent problems. So notice we have a base number, which is our 5, and then we have our exponent, which is the 2. So I know you're tempted to say, oh, that's 5 times 2, that's 10. It's not. It is saying 5 times 5. Why can I not write with this thing? And we know that 5 times 5 is 25. Now, when you have an exponent of 2, when you have a little number up top of 2, we use the term squared. So we would say that this is 5 squared, meaning 5 times itself. 5 times 5. Just as like if you had a 3 down here, you would say this is 9 cubed. 9 times 9 times 9. So what is 9 times 9 times 9? So 9 times 9 is 81. And then we have one more 9. So the answer would be 729. Does that make sense? So it's basically saying 9 times 9 times 9, which means you would take that 9 times 9, that gives you 89, and you would bring down that second 9, and you get 729. So let's do some more. So this is 2 to the 6th power, so this would be 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. What does that equal? So 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times 2 is 16. 16 times 2 is 32. And 32 times 2 is 64. So 64 is our answer. Okay, so let's look at this one. This would be, you could also say this is 3 raised to the 4th power. That's another way we could say this. So this would be 3 times 3 times 3. Things still look like times 3. Okay, so 3 times 3, that's 9. 9 times 3, that is 27. And 27 times 3 is 81. So we figured out that is 81. Okay, let's talk about 1. This is literally 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 times 1, 2, 3, 4 times 1 times 1. Guess what? It's just 1. 1 times 500,000 would still just be 1, because 1 times 1 is 1. All right, we're moving along. 2 times 4. Do you see what I just did? Even I fell for it. It's not 2 times 4. It's 2 to the 4th power. So that would be 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. So 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2, just do it like that, is 8. And 8 times 2, that equals 16. Okay? 10 cubed. 10 times 10 times 10. So 10 times 10 equals 100. And 100 times 10 equals 1,000. Okay, so then here I have 6 cubed, 6 times 6 times 6. All right, so 6 times 6, that would be 36. 36 times 6, let's see. 30 times 6, that would be 180. 6 times 6, that would be 36. So 180 plus 36 would be 180, 216, I believe. Okay, last but not least, 3 squared. 3 times 3. What's 3 times 3? You know that's 9. So those are just some examples of different exponents. But as long as you keep in mind that you are not multiplying 10 times 3, you are saying 10 times 10 times 10, 10 times itself 3 times, you've got exponents down. Okay, next is order of operations. A lot of you told me that you have heard the term PEMDAS before, and that means parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. And that is the order that you complete problems. Sometimes you'll see these complicated problems and they have all these different math operations. And you go, which one do I do first? Well, this tells you. Now, you can also use the mnemonic, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, but what would be better than please excuse Manny during a snooze? So tired. Now, it's important to note that these two are equal. Multiplication and division are equal. You would, in that case, go left to right, and I'll show you what I mean on an example in a second. All right, so 3 plus 6 times 2. Because we read left to right, we are tempted to take care of the 3 plus 6 first, which would be 9, and then to multiply it by 2. And if we did that, we would get 18. It's actually not how you do it. So, erase. What you do is you would do the multiplication first, because Manny comes before A. So, 6 times 2 is 12, and then you would add 3 to that. So the answer is 15, not 18. Okay, so here's another one. So we don't have any parentheses or exponents, but we do have multiplication and division. And like I said, they are equal in order. So in this case, we're going to go left to right. And what I mean by multiplication before addition is we're going to take care of this before we even worry about this subtraction sign. And we're going to take care of this before we even worry about this subtraction sign. So 6 times 4 is 24. And then 12 divided by 3 is 4. So I've taken care of my multiplication and division. How did I decide to do this one before this one? I just went left to right. And then I'm going to bring down that subtraction sign. And then I'm going to bring down that subtraction sign. And I've got 8. So this becomes 24 minus 4 minus 8. And 24 minus 4 is 20. And 20 minus 8 is 12. So the answer to that. Beautiful. Okay. Now, this last one, we do have parentheses. So that is what I'm going to worry about first. So I'm going to pretend that this is an even here. And I'm going to focus just what's on my parentheses. So knowing that I'm going to do the parentheses first, I don't have any exponents, so then I move to multiplication. So then I know that this is 6 minus 5. Now what is 6 minus 5? 6 minus 5 is 1. So now that I have taken care of what's inside my parentheses, I'm now going to come and do my 20 minus 1. So 20 minus 1 would equal 19. Okay, last but not least, and it's kind of a tricky one. Okay, don't worry. So the most important thing is what am I going to worry about first? So we start with our parentheses first. So we're not even going to worry about this 7 and this plus. So I'm going to say 6 times 5 squared plus 3. So then I'm tempted to go, ooh, should I do 6 times 5 squared? No, because after parentheses comes exponents, and we have an exponent right here. And this is just saying, what is 5 times 5? We know that 5 times 5 is 25. So now that I've taken care of my exponent, I'm going to now do my multiplication. So 6 times 25. What is 6 times 25? Well, that is, let's see, 6 times 25 is 850. My brain froze for a minute. So now I have 150 plus 3. And then I'm going to worry about what's inside my parentheses. So then that becomes 153. And then I'm going to bring down my 7 and my plus, and I will have 160. And it takes you through the steps here super pretty. So that's all I have for today. But I hope this gives you a good review on how to do exponents in order of operations.